We are good to
Yeah.
go, I think. Okay, we
Yeah.
are
Okay.
live. We are live. We are live.
Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 11th episode of Psych Talks with Teachers. And I'm your host, Ms. Basha, Director at ICHAS and ICHAS Support Foundation. And today we have with us Dr. Neelam, who's going to talk about child psychology. And I would quickly like to introduce our organization. ICHAS is an organization dedicated to the behavioral, emotional, mental growth of for individuals and from all the areas of the society through education, intervention, and guidance. Our institution is based on a solid value system of quality, philosophy of positive psychology, where we believe the therapy is not on focusing about weaknesses, but it is about helping people find and apply their strengths. So before we move ahead, I would also like to mention our MHP challenge, an initiative by mental health practitioners requesting people to seek help before it's too late. I would also like to request everyone to, who's watching the video or live today on the Facebook, do ask questions if you have anything related to child psychology, and we have an expert in house with tremendous amount of experience, and will surely answer those questions. You can also start a watch party on Facebook so that your friends and family can benefit out of this session. So, a brief introduction about Dr. Neelam. She is an accomplished psychologist and has recently superannuated as an associate professor of psychology from Kamla Nehru College, University of Delhi. She has about 4 decades of experience in academics and has been actively involved in individual counseling of students. She has been very passionate about counseling and sought after by students and also by many faculty members. She has she has guided various students in research projects. She has been very active in various institutes, building activities in colleges and contributing in many areas, holding various positions as such as public information officer, convener of different communities like ECA admission and much more. She specializes in the field of developmental psychology, biopsychology, and counseling. So, a very warm welcome, ma'am, to Psych Talks with Teachers, and we look forward to asking you a lot of questions related to child psychology. So, ma'am, anything that you want to share before we start with questions?
No, hello, and thank you so much for inviting me over. The only thing I would like to say to you is that I am not, I don't know all the answers. So whatever best I can do, I will try to give you as much information as possible as I have, and whatever experiences I have, I will try my level best to give you the best possible answers to any questions which you have. And there may be many questions which I'm unable to answer, which I can later on take it up sometimes whenever we meet, because I
Absolutely.
don't know everything. I know some of the things. So
I'm
that's
sure, ma'am, with 40 plus years of experience, there would be a lot to explore in that much only first.
uh,
We can go ahead with that experience first, exploring that, and then we can look for other things. So, ma'am, a brief introduction to child psychology, if you had to give us.
Yeah, see, child psychology, as the name itself suggests, it is basically we are trying to understand the constancy and changes from conception till adolescence. Okay.
Okay.
It is a part of developmental psychology, and developmental
Right.
psychology basically deals with it, includes all the changes and all the experiences which we have throughout our lifespan.
Right.
Okay, from lifespan, that is the major chunk, the major branch is developmental psychology, part of it is child
Right.
psychology. Okay, now
Right.
child psychology is very recently, this last 50 years or 60 years, we have a lot of research and a lot of development related to child psychology, and many subjects have contributed into it, starting with pediatricians who talk about the physiological aspect of it. Then we have certain
Right.
neuropsychologists, neuroscience. Then we have family studies. We have anthropology. We have sociology. We have biology. So all these fields have contributed a lot to the understanding of child psychology. So today, what whatever we have today as far as child psychology is concerned has been coming from various fields, because we have to understand the biological part of it to understand the psychological aspects related to children and their behavior. So biology plays a very important role. So before we teach them psychology, child psychology, we teach them biopsychology, so that they understand the basic biology behind how a child is conceived and how the child is born and what happens during these three trimesters, various kinds of, from one cell to multiple cell and then to many, and then it becomes a child, or a child is born, and what are the basic processes which are involved in it, what happens during pregnancy, prenatal development, what are the psychological changes which a woman experiences. So we are dealing with all the aspects. We deal with the physical aspect, which we call physical domain, then we deal with the emotional domain, then we deal with cognitive domain, then we deal with social domain. So all these are various aspects of child psychology where we try to understand their physiological, cognitive, emotional, all that behaviors we try to understand, and we try to, of course, teach them in class, but that is what child psychology is about. Okay?
Absolutely. Yeah. Lovely, ma'am. Lovely way of putting across how it is a culmination of different other fields, which helps to us to understand one subject we just know as child psychology. But there are so many things that are going behind it. And there's a lot of development, as you said, that has taken place over the years. So a lot of, I think, data would be available on that.
Lot of data is available. Some books are there.
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to recommend some books also to our audience who's watching us live on Facebook, and especially the students, since this series is about students, psychology students, focusing to psychology students. So I'm going to ask you what books they should read.
Okay, then the book which is most important, which we take as a Bible of child psychology, is written by I have it here. I'll show it to you. Is by Buck, Child Development by Buck. Okay.
Yeah. So it's Child Development by Buck.
Yeah, B-E-R-K, Buck. Laura Buck.
Okay, Laura Buck. Okay, lovely. I'm going to put that into the chat in the comment section so that the viewers can also benefit out of it.
This is a Bible of child psychology. Then there's Centrop, then there is Feldman. There are plenty of books available, but we take it as a Bible, and this is the more recent edition. Every time you find Burke is adding something to it. It's never the book is not the same. This is the, I think, 10th or 12th edition we have.
Wow.
The ninth edition, which is with all the recent researches, and every time she tries to make it more interesting for you to understand. It's not that if I've read the 3rd edition, 9th edition, I will not like. Every time I get more from the new book she publishes. So she's been very active and a treat to reading her book.
Absolutely, definitely. That's an add-on to today's session, that we have a book that has been recommended by ma'am, and I'm going to put it in the chat in some time. Before I go to the next question, ma'am, is that how important for a student of psychology is to learn child psychology?
Okay. See, it's not only that. I think it's important for students of psychology to learn child psychology. I think it is important for everybody to learn child psychology, because everybody is going to be a parent sooner or later, isn't it?
Right.
Everybody is going to be a parent, so everybody must understand child psychology. It is, how you see when you see your child growing up. It's not only for the students to learn. When you see your child growing up, when you conceive a child, maybe a man or a woman, both the couple, when they conceive a child, what are the changes which occurs? What are they looking forward to? Okay, when the child is born, it gives so much happiness to them. When you see the child first time looking into your eyes and smiling, it gives so much happiness. every time the child learns one particular, when he grasps, tries to hold you, then it gives you so much happiness. So every milestone, you can say every expression the child gives you, every movement the child, smallest possible movements, like simple motor movements, trying to hold the rattler, or trying to hold the mother's ears while mother is feeding the child. All these give you a lot of happiness, and everybody goes through it. It's not that only women go through it. The spouse who is contributed a lot in bringing the child to this world, he also enjoys the whole thing. So it's not only for psychology students. Everybody must, not only for that child psychology. I think psychology should be a must for everybody. One or two papers should be must for everybody to understand and know themselves. It is not only that if you're going to be a professional or something like that. It is knowing yourself. Psychology is knowing yourself, if nothing else. I know myself. When I read about psychology, suddenly I realize, oh, all these things are so important in my life. Okay, I never bothered about it. So all these things is, I think, psychology, for child psychology, because everybody is going to be a parent sooner or later. So they must understand how the child views the world, how the child looks into it, what is the child's expectations from you, and what are your expectations from the child, and how these environmental factors, genetic factors, cultural factors, they all contribute a lot to the child development. So it becomes very important to understand what is healthy development, what is unhealthy development. We must understand, when you see that my child has not started crawling when he's 18 months old. Why? What are the various milestones for which I should be looking into? It doesn't mean that if at 2 years old he's not talking, that means there's something wrong with him. But I must know this is the time period, plus minus few months here and there. The child should be talking, the child should be grasping, the child should be cooling, the child should be trying to get up on it, or child should be turning. All these factors play a lot of importance. They are very important in the development of the child, and everybody is looking, and as a parent you're looking why he's not crawling, why he's not doing. So from I don't want to give a term normal and abnormal. I don't want to use that term, but major milestones, that when the child reaches a major milestone, if the child has not reached that milestone for a particular reason, or why he has not reached that milestone, till you give plus minus few months, or maybe 6 months plus minus. If the child has still not reached that milestone, then there is a need for me to worry, and not only worry, there is a need for me to go and consult a specialist, whether it is a child psychologist or a pediatrician, or anybody whom you can confide in and talk to, and who can help you. So these are the things for which you think this is a very important subject for people to understand whether child is progressing in the same direction, in the right direction or not.
Absolutely. So so it's per se a life skill. Yes.
Life skill which everybody must learn.
Yes.
Because
yes, ma'am. You're saying something.
I don't think so. Anybody prepares you to have a child.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, because nobody prepared me mentally to have a child. So when you have a child, one must realize that nowadays everybody, especially the educated class, have a child only when you want it. Majority of people in India have a child because of pressure, social pressure, mother-in-law pressure, husband pressure, society's pressure. Have a child, have a child. But you don't realize child is a major responsibility. You are bringing another into this, and it's not as if acha ho gaya, nahi ho nahi gaya. So much make sure you have a child, you should be mentally prepared for it, because it's a great
Absolutely.
responsibility on the woman. Because mothers, I'm not saying others are not important, but mothers are very important, and their role is going to change, and their life is going to change. It is going to have
Right.
360-degree change, for which
Yes.
if you are prepared, then have a child. If you are not prepared, you can't say that I didn't realize it, so it goes back. No, it doesn't go back.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't go. It doesn't stay half the way.
There is no halfway. So you have a child,
Yeah.
then you have a full responsibility for rest of your life. It never
Oh
finishes.
yes. True. True.
My children's
So
responsibility, though my kids are married, but it still hasn't finished. I am still attached to them, still they need me at various stages. So it's not that. So once you have a child, if you don't want any responsibilities, delay as much as possible. You want to enjoy life, enjoy as much as possible. But once you decide to have a child, then be prepared to be responsible for the child, because child is like, as John Locke has said, tabula rasa is a blank sheet. Okay, which has come. We talk about nature and nurture, hereditary and environment. Definitely, we talk about it. But what you're going to make of the child, apart from his genes which you have given, or the child has inherited, environment plays a very important role. It's a very important role which the environment plays. If the mother or the parents are unhappy or not prepared, then it's not good for the child.
true. I
So,
can. I can't agree more to what you're saying. It's like so much out there, especially for the working couples or
yes.
young couples who are there out there. Uh, Absolutely. Great, ma'am. Ma'am, so I would also want to ask you, I'm going to ask you just general questions also, but I'm going to ask first questions which are related to psychology students. So,
Anji.
what kind of challenges, ma'am, you feel that the students face while learning this subject? Or do they face challenge or do they don't face challenge?
No, they don't face challenge, but it's very difficult for them to understand child psychology, because what happens is they have never thought about it. You know, when students take psychology, I remember in first year, the
Hmm.
only thing they talk about is clinical. Only thing
Ah,
I should be able.
ah.
And will I be able to read other faces? No, nobody is able. Till today, I can't read anybody's face.
That's
And
such a myth. That is such a myth.
that's such a myth. Ki, ma'am, will I be able to read others' face? Will I be able to predict their behavior? No way. The only thing which it gives you is that you have a better understanding of people's behavior.
Absolutely.
You know. So secondly, so coming from there, they come, okay, clinical. When they come to child psychology, paper in child psychology, or what we call it as developmental psychology in our syllabus,
Mhm.
they come, oh, acha, ab ma'am, it is so boring. It is so boring. So first thing I tell them is that in my first class, I tell them it's high time you start observing children.
Right.
Wherever you go, have it in mind, somewhere at the back of your mind, you should have that I'm observed. You go to a mall, observe the children. You go to a park, observe the children. Not like sitting here, like observing like this. Okay?
Hmm.
But keep an eye on them,
Right.
so that you can relate. Otherwise, you are unable to relate what Piaget says, why Vygotsky says. You are unable to relate.
True.
When you see them live, when you can relate it to, if you have a small child at home, like your brothers, your nephew, your nieces, your neighbors, and you start observing them, automatically you will find it much more interesting, because you can relate to them. You are
Right.
applying that. It is
Right.
applicable. So when you say something, when we say sensory motor stage of Piaget's, for example, and we say it's a
Hmm.
from 0 to 2 years, when we say sensory motor stage, and then you realize, we have a next door neighbor. He's 6 months old, 8 months old, and when you talk to him, he looks into your eyes, giggles, gurgles, and then you can relate it. Then it becomes easier for them to. So every time you talk about it, every time you think about it, you relate, visualize, relate.
Right.
see various, videos. There are plenty of videos. We never had
Yes.
videos when we studied child psychology. It was bloody
I,
boring.
I think it's commendable how the earlier generations would have learned through books and
I'm
only
telling
books to
you,
kind of.
I'm telling you, I remember my child psychology class. I don't I don't think so. I was listening to my teacher because if somebody is only talking, there's a time in 15-20 minutes, there is
Your
a
mind zones out.
they don't want to register, your mind doesn't register. So then if you have something audio visual, something pictorial, or you relate it to a child, or you give an anecdote of your neighbor, you give an anecdote of your grandchild, or anecdote of somebody around them, and tell them, okay, close your eyes and think about it. If I'm saying sensory motor stage, or I'm talking about a particular aspect of development, close your eyes and think of somebody. Can you do it? So it becomes easier for them to do it, because most of them have not thought about children. When they come to your class, they've not thought about children, and for them children is oh because girls at 19, 20, they are in a different world of their own. Nobody wants to think about children. So it becomes easier if you relate to them. And when you tell them, okay, I have a grandchild, or I have a daughter, or I have a nephew who behaves like this. And now though there are beautiful videos available on the net for every aspect. So when you show them, and then it becomes interesting for them. So all the challenges which the students face, we have to somehow undo them, get their interest. And after, I think it's renowned for my class that 60 minutes I don't teach them. The class has to be interactive. You can't go monotone, give lecture and forget about it. Whether they've understood, they are sitting like this blankly looking at you, okay, we are there, and you are saying, okay, it's my job to talk as I'm talking. So unless and until you make it interactive, they will not get interested in it. So all these things we have to, it's not only we are syllabus hunting. No, okay, I have to finish a syllabus, so I go teach, come back, go teach, come back. It's not that. Unless and until children enjoy your class, interactive, unless and until they can say whatever they want, or I can say whatever I want to them, then things become very boring otherwise. So the class has to be interactive. Tell them to discover certain things. Observation is very important. Discovery learning is very important. Then reciprocal learning, you make a group of small class, 4 or 5 classmates, give them an assignment. And I remember if I had done a practical when we had a smaller groups. Now we have 60 students in class, we can't do anything. We had a 27 students. We used to have, these child psychological practicals in class. So I used to ask them to bring their neighbors or friends, children, toddlers, 3 years, 4 years. These experiments we make them do in class. How they interact with the child, how the rapport formation is there, how they can make them comfortable. So on Saturdays, I used to call them, because you can't disturb the whole college. So I used to have their practicals on Saturday. Saturday our lab used to be so bubbly with so many children. Their mothers used to come, and then you would draw the mothers gradually, and then you play with them, and then you give them some chocolates, and then you do an experiment. That's what it's all about. Now with 60 children, a group of 25 as a practical group, there is no space. So we can't, so all these things, take a lot of interest.
Yes.
On the part of the students, as well on the part of the teacher who is teaching, because the number of students have expanded, the lab remains the same, the basic infrastructure remains the same. So then it becomes, it's no more, that interesting. Then what we are doing is, okay, just follow the syllabus, examination, orientation.
But ma'am, with what you said is that earlier used to have 30, 35 students, and now it's almost doubled up. So people are opting
Not more than 30 students. Never more
Yes.
than 30 students in my
Wow.
nation, yes, you know.
And
And
so,
now
and
I
now
have,
it's double. Sorry, go. You were saying something.
yeah, now we have 60, 62 students. The basic infrastructure is the same, the lab is the same, the apparatus is the same. So it becomes very difficult for students as well as for teachers to give that quality. I'm not saying that we are doing a very shoddy work, but I agree that we are not doing as much of effort. We are not taking as much effort as we would have. We had done it long time back, maybe 20, 15 years back, definitely 15 years back. We used to make more effort. Students used to enjoy more because there was one-to-one. Now, if I have 62 students in my class or 65 students in my class, I don't remember their names, but in my initial stages, I remembered everybody's name. Everybody would look into my eyes when I'm teaching. So it was more personal teaching. 65
Right.
students sitting there, you're teaching, that's all, class is over, okay, go fend for yourself. So there are little disadvantages. I'm not saying all the disadvantages, but of course there are certain disadvantages of having a bigger classroom.
Ma'am, but that also shows that children or the students have started the importance of this psychology
Subject.
as a field has increased. Yes.
Yes, it has, definitely. There was a time when I wanted to do psychology. My father was not in it. Pagal ho jayegi. You know the myths they have. Ki you
Yeah.
are Christian, you'll go crazy. You can't be studying psychology. But I think we have grown a lot from there. Now everybody nowadays, of course, you see with the situation we have, mental health is very important.
Absolutely.
Everybody must understand it's as important as physical health.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mm,
So true.
Well, physical health, maybe somebody can help you. You can ignore for sometimes. The more you ignore mental health, the more difficult
Worse
it is.
it becomes.
It is
Yeah.
to come out of it. So mental health is psychology is a very important subject. Everybody, and
True.
that's what I'm telling you. Everybody must do 2, 3 papers of psychology. Like we have language papers compulsory. They should make psychology. I hope somebody's listening to me.
Absolutely, ma'am. They are listening to you. We are live on Facebook. So let's say a quick hi to everybody who's there on Facebook watching us. So there is Pooja, Smita. Hi, everyone. Hi, Sanjana. So there are people who are joining us. And yes, guys, feel free to ask questions. If you have any question related to child psychology or developmental psychology, we have ma'am here who will help us to understand it much better. Right?
Yeah, please feel
Um,
free to ask questions. Yeah.
so, ma'am, you've almost covered my next question also about overcoming the challenges and making the subject interesting also.
Yeah.
So, what kind of tips would you give them for exams for this subject?
एग्जामिनेशन टिप्स ओके
ये subject के लिए मैम.
अच्छा इस सब्जेक्ट के लिए टिप्स एग्जामिनेशन के टिप्स तो ये है दैट स्टार्ट विद द बेसिक्स and try to understand them rather than rote learning. It is not biology. I have, because I teach biopsychology also. Very often I tell them, if you are unable to understand, though I try my level best to explain, so just learn it. Just learn it, because the parts of brain you learn, parts other you just learn them. Telencephalon, metencephalon, myencephalon, etc., etc. Doesn't matter. This is what it is for learning. But when you are doing child psychology, when you visualize, when you understand the basics, then it becomes very effective for you. You can recall what you have learned basically, and then on that basis you can write. Okay. Firstly, always practice writing. Very often it happens nowadays. It's very common that when the teacher is giving lectures, students are just sitting like this. Not always make notes in class, because when you make notes in class, what happens is there is a neural trace. When you listen, process that information and write, already a neural trace has been formed in your brain. When the neural trace has been formed in your brain, then when you read it again and write it, it is much faster. So whenever you are in class, go to the class, listen and try to write. I know it is very difficult for students to write nowadays anything because they're
मैम
so used to clicking
मैंने
photographs. Hanji, sorry.
नहीं आप बताइए. मैं I was going to ask you the next question that only those who are not able to write, what do they do? Alternate क्या है मैम?
ऑल्टरनेट तो ये है, लिखना तो देखो एग्जाम में लिखना तो है ना, आपने ये
हाँ.
तो है एग्जामिनेशन वर्बल है, we have a viva for that you get different, you have separate marks for it, but you have to write. So what I'm trying to say is, when you write, I'm giving you a biological basis of you. When you are listening
Yes.
to a lecture, processing that information and reproducing it, you're writing it, already there is a neural trace which is formed. So when you do it again, go home and do it, then already that gets strengthened. You know,
Right.
whatever new traces, so it becomes easier for you to prepare for your exams. Okay.
Right.
Then secondly, always make sure that you make notes. For every chapter you make notes, highlight whatever is important, make a table of a particular important things. Then after that you highlighted it at the end of the chapter, make a glossary of the important terminologies. Okay, you must have seen it nowadays in the books also.
They
They
do
always
have it.
highlight. They highlight in different color so that
Yes.
remains. And in a small box on the side, in book also you will find on the side, they will define all the important terminologies so that it stays with you. And hence that it becomes easier for you to learn. When you learn it, and then it is always good to have a small group of friends. I know it is a very competitive world, but still you must have very few, very close friends with whom you can share, sit, discuss, which we call it technically because cooperative learning or reciprocal teaching. If I'm unable, if with a friend I'm able to discuss, suppose I have a theory, Kohlberg's theory, which I'm unable to understand. It is very often very difficult to ask your teachers all the time. So 4 of you or 2 of you sit together, try to understand and discuss it with yourself. It becomes very easy for you to understand those things and retain those things. So you go, make a short notes of everything, highlight it, and again I will say write. That makes you very, because very often you have if you have observed sometimes in the examination hall, the students go like this, mumbling something to themselves, they're trying to recall. Okay, and very often when you're trying to recall, your hand writes faster than your brain thinks, because you have practiced with your hands. So I personally suggest a lot of written assignments for everything. And it's always never a home assignment, it's always you can ask my students, they're quite sick of me. I always take a test in class, because if I give you a home assignment, you just go copy, cut, copy, paste, and there it goes to Mrs. Kalia, let her see what she wants to do with it. So rarely that I take a home assignment, I always take a test in class, so that you learn, you come and write. That makes it very easy for you to give an exam. All the 4 or 5 tests which I take, suppose I've taken 2 tests, those 2 tests in class, when you have given them, it has prepared you for your final exams. You don't have to do a lot of preparation at that particular time. So these are some of the things which you must remember if you want some examination tips. Practice writing.
Practice writing. अभी मेरे दिमाग में ख्याल आता है कि मैंने मैम क्या पता नहीं मैंने कैसे पढ़ाई करी. Because I was never a student who would write. I would run away from writing. I never had a
मुझे नहीं पता मैंने कैसे करी, पर मैंने करी. That's all I know.
I have sailed through.
because at that time there was nothing else available, only writing, writing, writing.
Right.
And in fact, I remember because at that particular time, there used to be one or two books because they were all imported and very expensive. So
Yeah.
somebody would take that, and we were four friends. We will put a carbon paper and make notes for each
Wow.
one of us, so that one chapter I make notes, the other chapter somebody makes, and we used to take carbon paper at that particular time. So there was no choice, all the time writing, 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 we had to do. So that's why till today, if I have to learn something or I have to retain something, I need to write. And that's why I don't feel that it stays in my brain. When I've written something, it stays in my brain. This is my way. I'm sure everybody has their own way.
That comes with an experience. Sure, that what you're saying would definitely is making sense because the neuro pathways, as you said, builds with writing. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Neural connections are formed. Nerve connections
absolutely.
are formed, and then they are strengthened every time you write. They are strengthened. They are strengthened, and I say in class, if you don't write, your nerves will be dead. You will be only
Yes,
using all that, your what you call mobile,
laptops and
mobile,
phones and
mobile, mobile. तो मोबाइल करोगे तो बेटा जी ये जो जो नर्व सेल्स है ना दे डेड हो जाएंगे फिर बड़ा पछताओगे सो स्टार्ट राइटिंग
it is like मैम कितना भी टेक्नोलॉजिकली आगे बढ़ लो या एडवांसेस हो जाए बट it's always good to have the basics, right?
या
Basics of writing.
बेसिक
Writing is
बिल्डिंग
also the basics.
या बेसिक बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक्स तो होने चाहिए ना उसी के ऊपर
Right.
इमारत सॉलिड बनेगी उसके ऊपर आई कॉल माई सेल्फ टेक्नोलॉजिकली चैलेंज्ड बट स्टिल आई कैन डू समथिंग
Good.
I can do something but a person who cannot write will find it very difficult. So I think it's I think my way of doing it. Students have their own ways of doing it.
No, ma'am, I'm sure your feedback and your advice would definitely help them to adapt to new ways.
Maybe it's. I think it will be easier for them to give
Yeah.
examinations. You said not examination tips. This is for examination because we
Ma'am,
haven't in India we haven't reached a stage where we have online exam and there's things to type and everything. So
मैम फिर तो पता नहीं क्या ही होगा.
multiple choice का आ जाएगा. So वो कौन
So
बनेगा?
people like would be very happy with that multiple choice. मेहनत नहीं लिखने की मेहनत नहीं करनी पड़ेगी.
Because multiple choice, your explanation is being challenged, not recall.
Yeah.
Okay, so it becomes easier for give multiple choice exams than you give the usual what do you call
Written
uh,
exam.
written exams.
Right. So, ma'am, now a gendered question is how do you think or how are children affected due to this pandemic? I mean, what is your observation on that?
My observation, I feel very bad for them. I really feel very sad for the children who are growing up. Grown ups are fine, but grown ups are also having problems. All of us are having problems.
All of us are having true.
All of us are having problems, but children are the most affected. They are the most affected, and hence they need to be really taken care of. Because see, all their life has changed totally. They are stranded at home, no school, no playground, no play dates, nobody at home coming visiting them, no nana, no nani, no baba, na chachi, mama, nobody's there. So they are isolated and stuck with their parents. Parents have their own problems. Some of them are working from home,
Working. Both the parents work at times.
work at time. Then we don't have helpers coming. In India we need helpers to do our household also. So all these things get accumulated. A child is seeing from his balcony that playground hai, swings hai, but I'm unable to go there. Maybe a 4-year-old child can learn. How do you explain these things to a 1.5-year-old child or 2-year-old child? He's stranded in the house. He doesn't know, or he or she doesn't know why the mummy is not taking me down to the playground. He doesn't understand that. He doesn't understand why my auntie is not coming, or my maid is not coming, who was looking, who used to come and play with me. For them, and for them to explain their frustration or their anxieties or their problems, they are unable to convey it to you. The only thing they can do is they cry, cry, cry. So they become, suddenly you say, my child has become very cranky. One of my younger colleagues asked me, what do I do? My child is becoming very cranky. I said, she's becoming cranky because her life has taken 380-degree change. कहाँ नीचे जाना, भागना, दौड़ना, स्कूल जाना. अब things which we were trying to keep them away from was the mobile and online. Online भी आप 1 घंटा देख सकते हो, अब आप आधा घंटा देख सकते हो. अब बच्चे क्या करें, ऑनलाइन क्लास है, ऑनलाइन सब कुछ है, टू डाइवर्ट देयर अटेंशन, फिर ऑनलाइन ही आप कुछ दिखा रहे हो, थोड़ा सा खेलोगे. सो इट्स their life has changed to 380 degrees, and you find, I feel very sad for them, and you find the parents have their own limitations, to be with the parents, to be with the parents 24/7. It is maybe it's suffocating for parents. It is suffocating for the child.
Mutual feeling.
So naturally, this COVID has had a very bad effect on children, especially children who are. देखो, तुम बोल रही थी, you are young girl, आप फोन कर लेते हो, इधर कर लेते हो, फ्रेंड से मिल लेते हो, व्हाट्सएप कॉल कर लेते हो. छोटा बच्चा 3 साल का क्या करे, वो माँ को ही देखेगा ना, वो माँ को देखेगा, माँ फ्रस्ट्रेट हुई हुई है, as it is mother is also. I'm not saying, these are some of the ways it can happen. Maybe they are becoming very close also. It is also possible that suddenly they've become very close because there's nobody else to do. But you can say that breathing space which the parents had, the children had, they don't have it anymore. And children more so, you feel bad more for them because they are unable to verbalize what you're feeling. They are unable to say what they are feeling from inside. They are unable to show their frustration. They are unable to anger. Anji, sorry.
And also they're dependent.
They're dependent. They're totally dependent. They can't do anything, can't go down on their own, or go down, be up. See, some of the parents are taking their children out, mask लगा के, वो शील्ड लगा के. It is so suffocating. वो कहाँ childhood हंसते खेलते कूदते बच्चे कहाँ दिख रहे हैं, नहीं दिख रहे ना. तो सबसे ज्यादा तो तकलीफ बच्चों को ही है ना, सबसे ज्यादा कंस्ट्रेन बच्चों को ही है ना. They are not the way they should be. अब हम क्या कहते हैं, बच्चों, बचपन क्या है, हंसता खेलता बचपन. अब कहाँ है हंसता खेलता बचपन, मुझे तो तकलीफ होती है.
Whatever the new normal is, then we can get back to having a good life.
Yes, we are all waiting. We are all waiting that we should.
Yes. Ma'am, what are the ways a psychologist could help a child in this scenario?
A psychologist पास तक तो आप पहुंच नहीं सकते क्योंकि it's very difficult to go and meet somebody. But we must also try, the parents, the family has to be more understanding. The family has to find time for the children. The family has to, especially the parents have to be very, very, very patient and very, very vigilant. If they are seeing certain signs of being cranky or too much crying, that means the child is feeling frustrated from inside. So what you need to do is play with the child, play games with the child, tell stories, keep the child as much busy as possible. Going to a psychologist at this particular time is almost impossible, like going to a doctor is impossible. So you find ways, like you can say, okay, let's, very often if you have a 3 or 4-year-old child, take him to the kitchen with yourself, give him something to play with. You give him a little dough, okay, you make something yourself, you make a little toy with a dough, make them understand, and then simultaneously talk to them. when you're talking to them, when you're cooking yourself. So be involved with them as much as possible, which is very difficult, I know, especially for mothers who are working from home. But I think they should take turns. The parents should take turns. I work from like 9 o'clock till 2 o'clock, whatever best they can do, and you work from 2 o'clock till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, so that you can give time to the one child or two children you have at home, because they need a lot. This is their formative years. So these formative years are very important. If they have any kind of, as it is because of the COVID, they're having a lot of problems. If they have any kind of scars at that particular time, or a trauma at that particular time, or they feel that my mother is so all the time busy in her work, she is unable to give me time. Children are very intelligent nowadays. So they are because they are exposed to, their exposure is so much, they're exposed to so many things, that very often we are taken aback. Acha, this also are you aware of it? So children are very intelligent, so you have to be equally intelligent with them. You have to give them more time. So don't say कि अच्छा बच्चा चुप हो जा. There was a time when others used to say अच्छा जा
हमारे उसमें होता था.
चिंता मत कर, बाद में पूछ लेना. Now this is the time when you need to clear their doubts, give them love, give them affection, play with them, be with them. Very often you find that the children go into depression, which is very bad. We don't call it depression, clinical depression, but they become a little sad, they become quiet. Yeah. So you have to, as a parent, look for signs and engage them as much as possible. And you can leave your frustrations and your stress and tensions on a back burner. Okay, I'll sort it out when there's a better time, because you understand, you have insight why this is happening. A child does not know why this is happening. This is what I would say.
Absolutely. I'm on that. So, ma'am, how effective are the of child psychology nowadays?
What? Say it again.
I'll ask you again. How effective are the theories of child psychology nowadays? मतलब अभी भी जो theories हम use करते हैं वो effective हैं?
बेटा बात ये है कि the basics remains the same. Okay. Maybe they have their boundaries have opened a little bit. Okay. The basic theory remains the same. For example, I take Piaget's theory, is a very popular theory, is a very renowned child psychologist. I talk about Piaget's theory, and he says, he has divided stages, sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, and formal operational stage, starting from 0 to 2. Okay. For example, he said 0 to 2 is sensory motor stage. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that the sensory motor stage remains. Okay? Yes. Maybe the child will reach the next stage a little earlier because he is exposed to so many things. So the basic structure remains the same. Only things you open the boundaries a little bit more. Okay? So it becomes a little bit more open things which maybe I didn't know at the stage, or you may say, and nowadays, every 5 years there's a generation gap. And will you believe me, my students of third year tells me we have a generation gap with first year. That means 2 years gap is also a generation gap. Okay, so the only thing is the basic theories, the basic structure of जैसे फ्रॉइड की theory है, फ्रॉइड की theory का basic structure ठीक है, वो रहेगा. एक होता है ना, एक skeleton तो हमारे पास है ना,
रहना ही है वो तो.
Skeleton remains the same for these theories also. The basic skeleton is there, the basic infrastructure is there. We need to add and delete certain things which are coming up because children are exposed, new fields are coming, new researches are coming. So there are so many new things which are coming that we need to adapt and assimilate. So we need to adapt and assimilate, and hence the the modern theories are there, but the basic old theories, basic infrastructure should be the same, you know, and the basic what do you call it? Can't recall a particular word. That means एक जो एक बेसिक जैसे नींव होती है ना,
हाँ
मकान
हाँ,
की
आपने
नींव
जो पहले ही बताया था, स्केलेटल बोलो, आप बोलो, नींव बोलो या ढांचा बोलते हैं हम जिस चीज को।
क्या बोलते हैं, जो भी आप बोलते हो वो तो रहेगा ही रहेगा, उसके ऊपर ही आप कुछ बना सकते हो. सो theories will remain the same. प्याजे की थ्योरी भी रहेगी, होलबर्ग की थ्योरी भी रहेगी, वाइगॉट्स्की की थ्योरी, सबकी थ्योरीज रहेगी, पर थोड़ा थोड़ा उसमें ऐड होता जाता है, थोड़ा थोड़ा नई चीजें ऐड होती जाती हैं, which makes it little bit more interesting. Because life is what? The continuous change. There is no stagnation. Stagnated water collects dirt. So
Yeah,
it is changing, and hence the theories need to change and redevelop themselves and add certain things and delete certain things which become little redundant. Okay.
absolutely. Very well. Ma'am, how our genetic inheritance in मतलब our nature interacts with our experiences, which is our nurture, to influence our development?
और ये तो मतलब ये nature nurture controversy. It's not a controversy. We can
It's
say
not a
nature and
controversy. I think, ma'am, दोनों जरूरी होते हैं.
nature and nurture are equally important. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Equally important, because what you inherit, it's again what you were genetically determined. There are certain things which we inherit genetically, and in spite of the fact that it's something like this, in spite of the fact that I have inherited a predisposition towards a particular disease, for example. Okay. There is diabetes in my family. Suppose, I'll give you an example. Okay.
Yes.
Suppose there's diabetes in my family history shows that there's diabetes in my family. So I have inherited a predisposition towards it. Okay. That the chances of my developing diabetes is much more than
Yes.
a general population who does not have a history. But it is not necessary that I will have diabetes if I am careful the what do you call it, nature and nurture. If the environment, if I'm careful about the environment, if I'm careful about what I'm drinking, what I'm eating, I'm doing exercises, so it is not necessary that I will develop diabetes. So similarly, in child development also, nature plays a very important role and nurture plays. Environment, it is always a combination. The child is a combination of nature and nurture. What we get is, of course, the hereditary plus the environment. Environment also, you can actually give a lot of, you can change the whole perspective of a person by changing the environment. Okay. But
Absolutely.
there are other things, what you have inherited. Genetics is equally important and environment is equally important, and that outcome of it, genetics plus environment, the outcome is always the best. Okay, so one cannot say that one is more important and the other is less important. Both of them play an equally important role in child development also, as they play an equally important in other fields of life. In our basic biology also, what I have inherited and what I am today. You know what I have inherited from my parents? Maybe the color of my skin, maybe my eyes and my nose and everything.
Yeah,
But
body structure.
body structure, basically biology, I have inherited. But
Yes.
I have made myself today is more related to the environment, my environment. So I take very simple examples. I don't take very complicated examples. Simple examples. So both of them are equally important.
Absolutely. Ma'am, one question about what would be your suggestions or recommendation to parents right now? So you did tell me about how parents should be. This is for children, you said. For how about parents, adolescents, parents? or young adults parents, how should they manage their children or work with their children?
Very difficult situation. It's a very difficult situation, and I can really empathize with them, because adolescent is, as it is, a very difficult stage to manage. Okay, and during this COVID time, it becomes much more difficult for them to manage their children. So the only suggestion I give to the parents is be patient. Be patient with the children, the young adolescents. Be patient. Try to understand them. Try to, you know, be their friends. Try to talk to them as much as possible, and give them space. Give them space, because an adolescent stuck with the parents in COVID time is a terrible thing. It's a
It's
terrible
a
thing.
bad state.
It's a very difficult phase for the parents as well as for the
As well as
adolescents. So give them space, give them time, give them whatever, not to this extent that it becomes difficult for you to control them, but definitely you have to be very, very, very patient. Like we are very patient with our younger ones. Similarly, we have to be very patient with our adolescents, talk to them, and it's like go to them, and if you find that they are not in a mood, withdraw. You know, because very often we say कि अब मेरे पास इस वक्त time है तो I can talk to you, you know.
ये
So
नहीं होता
I,
है.
I must I must talk to you because now I am off for 2 hours from my workplace. So don't do that. Give them time and space, and whenever they want to talk, maybe at 2 o'clock at night, you have to be their friend. Give, and then we have to be, you know what you call it in counseling, unconditional positive regard. Don't give them, I know the best. I know the best. No.
Nobody knows
Unconditional
best.
regard. I know most of the parents think, मुझे मैं तेरा
नहीं
बाप
नहीं
हूँ मुझे
हाँ.
मैं तेरी माँ हूँ
That is so common. That is so common.
that's so common. So when you are dealing with them, especially during this time, you be very open that I don't know anything, beta. I am willing to understand. I'm willing to listen. I give you unconditional positive regard. Be non-judgmental. We are all so conditioned to be judgmental. We are all, I myself so often have to tell myself, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You know, we are, as parents, are so conditioned that parents know the best. No, not necessarily. So be non-judgmental. Give them unconditional positive regard. Talk to them. I'm still here. Laga do. Looks like you are. Okay, so these are certain things, because it's a difficult time for parents as well as for the
For the young
adolescents.
adult. Yes.
Make sure that you are very compassionate to them, you know, because they are going through a lot of emotional turmoil also themselves. So you have to be very
Absolutely.
compassionate to them also.
Absolutely.
Some
Ma'am, last question before we wrap up for the day. One message for the young budding psychologists or psychology students that you would like to give.
one message to psychology students. Okay.
Budding
One message.
psychologists.
Okay, budding psychologist. One message which I would like to give to a budding psychologist is basically, whatever you do it with a lot of compassion, a lot of motivation, a lot of dedication. See, when we are as psychologists, we have to be very sensitive, because we are dealing with human beings, human subjects. We are not dealing with two chemicals, ye dala to ye nikal aayega. No. We are dealing with human beings. And human beings, we must realize that we are dealing with their emotions. We are dealing with their motivations. We are dealing with their morals. We are dealing with their socialization. So when you are, whichever aspect you take, and especially psychologists are most of the time dealing with emotions, you know. positive, negative, a variety of emotions. So we have to understand that as psychologists or budding psychologists, we are dealing with a fragile, very fragile, what do you call it, very fragile individual, maybe fragile thing, because we are dealing with mind, brain, heart, compassion, emotion, love, affection. So you can't just say anything and get away with it. You know, it is not what do you call it, non. It's not a material we are dealing with human beings, human subjects. So we have to be very compassionate, very tender, very sensitive, and emotions. We are dealing with people's emotions. So beware. Don't. If you don't know, withdraw. So whatever you do, whichever psychologist you become a neuropsychologist, you become a child psychologist, a clinical psych, whatever you do, make sure that you should do it with lot of compassion and dedication, because here we are dealing with the most marvelous thing God has ever made, and that is human being. That's all I have to say.
Lovely. That's a wonderful piece of advice, I think, to all of us, as in general, also as a human being, not just to the psychology students and budding psychologists, but as a human being also. I feel that that's what something that we should keep in mind while we are interacting with others. Great, ma'am. So I think we come to a lovely. We had a lovely session. I thoroughly enjoyed. I hope you had a lovely session too,
So I
and our
had a
audience had a resourceful and a wonderful session too. Please feel free to comment if there are any questions that you have. We are just about to wind up. So I'll just check once if we have any questions. So no questions, but I think everybody's there. Great.
Yeah,
So we come.
sorry. In any case,
Sorry.
you can just share my email and my mobile number. Anybody wants to consult me or
Absolutely.
talk to me, they are more than welcome.
Absolutely, ma'am. So could you please share your email ID with me?
Sanjana has it.
Sanjana has it.
But
Okay. So I'll ask Sanjana to mention it here later on once the session is completed,
yeah,
and I'll ask her to put it here. So once again, ma'am, thank you so much for coming on the platform of Side Talks with Teacher. It was wonderful having you and discussing the subject. Thoroughly enjoyed hosting the session, and I hope our audience were also wonderful. Thank you so much for joining the live. Looking.
yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was their pleasure. This was my first time, but it went very smoothly. I liked it. So let's see. We'll have more of such sessions. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank
And I'm looking forward to see you also soon
Yeah.
when we meet up.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
thank you everybody. Thank you so much, ma'am. Once again, I'm going to go offline
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I will. So yeah, and have a lovely evening, everybody. And I'm going to see you all next Friday, same
Yeah.
time, 7:30, and we'll come with another interesting subject of psychology. So stay tuned for that.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye. Thanks so much, ma'am.